Thank you, Acorn TV, for sponsoring this video. There has always been a major flaw in my organization system. I was never able to decide whether I wanted or preferred a digital or an analog system. I've been going back and forth between the two for as long as I remember, but as soon as I commit to one for a couple of months, I start craving the other. And look, I know I have issues. I uploaded a video just a couple of months ago stating I had found the perfect planner, a digital planner for my iPad Pro. And I kid you not, that system is fantastic, and I know a bunch of you will find it perfect for your own planning needs. But I just felt like I needed, paper. It's ridiculous, I know that. But the thing is, that system is not perfect anymore. Well, at least for me. I needed to try something else. I just wanted to find a way to combine the best features of a digital system to an old school paper planner. For me, digital systems have two irreplaceable characteristics. I can use them anywhere and I can change, add, and delete things in a very easy way. Analog systems, though, have a different charm. They allow me to really think about what I'm writing down. There's a certain pleasure in picking the right writing tool and the right paper and just writing things down without staring at a screen. In a way, digital tools are efficient, but analog tools are more enjoyable. I also feel really guilty when I print things out, like notes and documents to annotate, and I definitely want to reduce waste in paper, writing tools, as well as other stationery. So, what now? Is there any kind of balance that can be achieved? Or am I doomed to feel constantly unsatisfied by the planning methods I use? And if you think I'm being overdramatic, well, this is a productivity channel, so this is probably the only drama we'll ever have here. We need to spice things up a bit now and then. Okay, so I've been thinking about the apps, notebooks, and planners I've used across the years. And I've used, a lot. It's ridiculous, once again, but it's part of the job. I was trying to think whether there could be any way where I could simply combine everything I've ever enjoyed using into a single system that is as perfect and complete as it gets. We'll call it the 2021 Perfect System, because I also have a 2020 Perfect System and a couple of 2019 Perfect Systems. I will ignore those, but you can go and watch them because they may be the perfect system for you now. But what I need in 2021 is a combination of efficiency, enjoyment, portability, and minimalistic planning style and organization. So I decided to do a table of pros and cons, very Rory Gilmore-ish. I had to individualize what I enjoyed and didn't enjoy about different systems. This allowed me to overrule certain methods and try and include other ones. So here are my findings in a minute. I like calendar blocking, digital or in paper. I like to brainstorm on paper and make lists. I like seeing my tasks and events on multiple views, yearly, monthly, daily, and weekly. I like complete and eternal databases where I can navigate through projects easily. I really don't like worrying about perfection, wasting too much paper, spending money on monthly subscriptions or high-maintenance organization systems where I take ages to write down a few to-dos. After this exercise, I knew for sure what I could get rid of and what I could keep in my system. So this meant a hybrid, two-pronged organization system made up of a paper planner and a full digital setup for my knowledge base. So we've talked about the knowledge base before, right? This is the place where you store your notes on anything and everything that you consider important. Your knowledge base should not be used to plan for events, annotate tasks, or plan according to time. It's supposed to be more of a wiki, where you store information that you find relevant. There are a lot of ways you can use to build your database, but going digital definitely saves you a lot of time and money, especially if you have many areas of interest or projects going on at the same time. And there are also different ways and methods to build this database, like the Second Brain method or the Zettelkasten systems. Both are intricate ways to organize information, and they create hierarchies that are functional and actually make sense. So for this purpose, I'll be using Notion. If you've never used Notion before, I'll link down below a full playlist with all of my videos where I show you how I've been using it for the past couple of years. So the other interesting part, my paper planner system. There is one planner I was never able to get my hands on since I started this channel. a Hobonichi Planner. I remember trying to order one from the original website, and just shipping plus customs were around $50. So that meant the planner would cost around $100 without a cover. Yikes. But this year, something incredible happened. I started finding Hobonichi planners in European stores. Hobonichi planners have some things that I absolutely love. They are incredibly minimal in terms of design, but they actually feature yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily views, which make them the most useful planners I've ever seen. I love to organize everything with different goals in mind. I love calendar blocking my weeks, but I also require the space to write down intricate and big daily to-do lists, which is something that ended up drawing me to bullet journaling a couple of years ago. The good thing about the Hobonichi is that everything has been set up properly for you. No need to draw templates or have a high-maintenance planning routine. So this year I got myself the Hobonichi cousin Avec planner. This is basically a yearly planner divided into 2 notebooks, for your convenience of course. This allows the planner to be lighter and easier to live through. It comes with a yearly, daily, monthly, and weekly section, so you have freedom to plan according to your workload. You know, I like the mix of the 3 because my workload varies throughout the year. Most days are complex enough for me to have to use the daily section and write down detailed to-do lists with a bunch of tasks and chores I need to complete before the end of the day. On the other hand, there are other times like during the holidays, some weekends, and even on vacation, where I don't need such a detailed spread, but I would still like to calendar block my time in weekly view, or at least check my monthly template and see whether there is any major event for those days. So that's what I enjoy the most about the Hobonichi mixed templates, and why I think it's such a great planner for, well, basically anyone. So, just to recap, I'm going to use Notion for project planning, my knowledge database, lists and content on my personal areas of interest, and then my Hobonichi planners to schedule events and tasks that have a specific day or time to be completed. But there's one more element for this organization system to be completed, and that is these 2 slim notebooks that I will attach to the back of my Hobonichi as soon as I find a really good cover. These notebooks are used to jot down temporary notes. These can either be notes to brainstorm something that will then find a more permanent place on my Notion setup, or they can be used to write down some meeting notes that also don't have to be temporary, as well as some internal thoughts I have while I'm working on something. I have 2 of these because I'm dedicating one of the notebooks for my job, so this one I can show you, and the other one for anything related to YouTube. Another thing I promised myself was avoiding being picky and perfectionist with this setup. So for everything that I'm writing down, I'm using a standard black fine liner pen, and the red one just in case I really want to highlight something. I'm not paying too much attention to handwriting because my main purpose here is to really write things down, turn this into an efficient and guilt-free setup, and basically just feel free to write everything I want, anytime I want. And before you go, let's just take a look at my current Notion setup. Since Notion became free, I basically decided to cancel my premium account and just migrate everything I had into my personal workspace, and then share some of the pages with other people when relevant. I'm basically dividing Notion in projects, areas, resources, and archive, which is the basic system used in the second brain method. My first page is for quick notes, and it basically works as a repository for that kind of quick thing I need to write down and file later in case I can't reach or don't have access to my notebooks. In my project space, I have a lot of things going on, and I organize these by completion date. So my postgraduate is something that is currently on the run, so it's featured first place on my list. And then I have new channel branding, which is something that will probably happen in January, project house, which is everything I need to know about moving out, finding a new apartment, etc. All of these projects are divided into sub-pages, when applicable, and they feature a lot of different views depending on my exact needs for that project. In terms of project planning, Notion has actually very recently introduced a new timeline view, which is perfect for those projects that take a long time to finish. You can click and drag each task and assign them to people, and everything is very, very easy to manage. In my areas and resources page, I have a lot of lists of things that I want to keep for a long time. These aren't lists of daily tasks, those should be kept in my Hobonichi Planner. These are more permanent lists. For instance, this is where I keep my yearly reading lists, my bucket list, or my Christmas presents list. My areas page is also a wiki. That means I keep a ton of permanent information there that I want to read again in the future. This is particularly noticeable in my work page, where I list a ton of book summaries as well as notes regarding the work I do. I also keep here a lot of important info like service contacts, info on deadlines and procedures, work benefits, etc. Another one of my most complex areas page is my YouTube page, where I keep a complete table with scripts, details on dates and sponsorship deals, as well as current progress. I also have pages dedicated for Patreon, lists of resources including useful websites, assets and tools, as well as other mini projects that are being brainstormed but aren't currently on the works. When those are given a deadline, they are moved from my areas section to my projects section. The biggest difference between my system and the second brain method is that I don't have a separate resources section, since I prefer to list resources according to the area of interest instead of completely separating the two. I find this easier to keep things neatly organized, and it also helps me remember better which tools I actually have available for each different area. So basically, my new perfect setup for 2021 is a combo of paper and digital. Digital for long project planning and things that need to be shared, and paper for planning my daily routine and jot down events and brainstorming crazy new projects. I think that a hybrid system is the perfect way to mix mediums with different benefits without really having to compromise between one or the other. Also, I'm a huge fan of making lists, and I literally make lists of everything, and I love to move things around, check boxes, and even share them. Just like my yearly reading list, I also have lists of movies, shows, and documentaries I want to watch. And if you want to find a couple of new shows for the holidays, why not try something new like Acorn TV, which has an extensive library dedicated to British television, full of classics and newly discovered favorites. You get access to thousands of hours of premium, commercial-free, international content for $5.99 per month. And if you're afraid you're going to run out of content, don't worry, because they add new releases every single Monday, so there's always something new to watch. It also works seamlessly with all of your devices, so you can watch your favorite shows on your iPad or iPhone, Android devices, and then cast it to your TV using Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV, and more. And if you're a fan of British comedy, then you need to watch the other one. It follows two sisters from very different worlds who had no idea the other existed until their father dies, and it's such a great show and it's such great fun. If you want to watch all of these shows and escape to Britain, Ireland, and Australia without leaving your seat, try Acorn TV for free for 30 days by going to acorn.tv and use code Mariana. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys!